The guineas have been walking the perimeter. Clearly, they're trying to map out every acre of my land. To combat this, I'm installing punji sticks every 3 feet on the perimeter and some inside the wire. So I had to deploy my shithole offender variable elevation loader. While I was digging, something happened that was so outrageous that I had to get this info out ASAP as possible. I found a staircase that's going down deeper into the earth. At first I thought it was some contraption that one of the agencies installed on my land without my consent. Then I thought that it might be a portal to another dimension. You know, like where the lizard people come from. But then I saw that it had something written on the top step. It was in an ancient language. But luckily, I know how to read all languages that ever existed. It said, look into the Tartarian Empire. So I reached out to my taint. That's my team analysis intelligent network team. What they came back with was shocking. Have you ever heard of the mud flood? Of course you have. Do you know why? Because the CIA erased the history of the most advanced civilization the Earth has ever known. But PP, why would the CIA erase the history for total control? This society knew how to capture electricity out of thin air. If we knew about that, Al Gore couldn't sell us carbon credits, the energy companies couldn't massively overcharge their customers to pay for lawsuits they lose when they burn down entire communities, and the government couldn't lock you out of your thermostats whenever they want to. And here's the big thing. They couldn't pay the alien to create the electric cars that they will use to control where we can and can't go. You know what Elon stands for, right? Electric lock on the nation. I know what you're asking yourself. If the civilization was so advanced, why doesn't it exist anymore? Because, you know, enlightened ones knew that if you can control the electricity, you can control the people. What happens like clockwork every time there is a power failure? That's right. There's a run on milk and bread. I guess people think the best time to make homemade cereal is when the lights don't work. Once they figured out they needed to control the electricity, they fired up the weather machines and created a monsoon of mud. A big brown asshole of shit wall just flying towards the most dynamic, efficient, technologically advanced city we ever see. When the dust settled, the entire civilization was wiped off the face of the earth, covered in miles of mud that eventually turned into the ground we walk on every day. This was the single most devastating act that humankind will ever know. In the 60s, people started asking questions, and that's when the good old Commie Injection Agency decided to cover the whole thing up. It wasn't until a recent FOIA request shined a tiny beam of light on what the CIA did, but civilians still don't know why it was done. Until now. Stay vigilant, stay prepared, and if a giant brown shit wall is heading your way, brace for impact and survive at all costs. Panic Prepper 1, out! Look at them all. They're up to something. Look at them all. The fuck is the tank? Why would the CIA? Why would the CIA? Why would the CIA? Why would the CIA